Jessica.
And I'm Denise.
And we're
Homies in Retrograde.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this episode. We've been gone a while.
Haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, it was spring break. Then we came back. I had to work. We actually both had to work. So,
how was Disney World?
Disney World was okay. It was a lot. It was hot. There were a lot of people. There was a lot of screaming children. I don't know. It kind of like has lost the magic for me because everything is so fucking expensive. I paid for Genie Plus though.
What the heck is Genie Plus?
Remember Fast Pass lines?
Yeah. They don't have Fast Passes anymore? I haven't been in Disneyland.
You have to pay for them now.
You don't even get the 3 free
no.
you used to?
They all are paid.
That is bullshit.
And then for the really popular rides, you have to pay, they're not on Genie Plus, you have to pay Lightning Lane. So they're even more expensive for just like one line.
What the hell?
I pretty much went on all the new rides except for one of the Star Wars ones. I went on the Star Wars one where you control the ship. And then the other one where you're on like a trackless ride, I didn't go on that one. Because the line was like fucking 3 hours. And I was not living for that.
I'm going to Disney in October.
Disneyland?
Yeah.
Let me know about that.
I've never been for Halloween, so we'll see.
You have to go to what is it? Haunted Mansion?
Didn't they redo it? Oh no, they didn't. I was thinking about Tower of Terror.
Because they do what is the one with the skeleton? Jack something.
Jack Harlow.
Jack the Skeleton.
Jack Skellington, you mean?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh my god, can I just say that I feel like right before you press record, we were just talking so much, and now as soon as we press record, I'm like
dead.
Yeah, I'm like
we were trying to pick modern women for our feminist episode. I have nothing.
I have one.
Who is it? I guess we should save it, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways, have you watched The Kardashians?
I just watched part of it. I have such a love-hate relationship with the Kardashians.
Me too. Like sometimes they're so entertaining, but sometimes I'm like, why the fuck am I watching this? Like I think what it is now is that they'll report, like the internet will report stuff that's you already know is gonna happen in the show.
When you watch it, it's like
over.
You already know everything.
Yeah, like
good stuff.
Hold on, which one is it? Not Courtney. Courtney's engagement.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the show, but I already saw the pictures.
Same.
So.
I mean, all the Kanye drama, I can't imagine they're going to have anything better than, following it in real time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But, I don't know, sometimes I look at them and you have to acknowledge that. I mean, it's a family of how many women?
A lot of women.
5, right? 5 sisters and the mom, Chris. That's pretty badass, They're, super rich, super influential, and they're all women. But at the same time, are they perpetuating an unrealistic body standard or just life in general? We're never gonna be that rich, or just people in general.
Yeah, that's true. But me too. I'm like, when you're out of shows. And then you're just you're going through Hulu and you're like, oh, well, fuck. I guess we're here again.
Have you watched Sex Education?
Yeah.
I just started watching it.
I love it.
I know. It's so good. I haven't finished the 3rd season.
The 3rd season, I don't like the ending.
Don't tell me anything.
Have you watched Severance?
No.
Denise, you have to watch it. You're so smart. I can't recommend it to dumb people, but you're very smart, so I think you'll like it. Well, and you're so fucking lucky because all the episodes are out. I had to wait.
Oh, it was a weekly?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because you flattered me, I will watch it now.
Yeah.
But to get into it, Kardashians, feminist icons, yes or no?
Well, I want to say... I don't know. It's half and half. They do
as much harm as they do good.
Yeah.
For womankind.
You know what I mean? There are women that own businesses, but also sometimes they can be a little dishonest about the body image stuff. in one of the episodes, like the recent episodes, Chloe was like, and then they talk about me, and I only Photoshop my pictures a little bit. And I'm like, Chloe, shut the fuck up.
Right.
Shut the fuck up.
Or like, they don't want to admit to a lot of surgeries, which they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean...
I don't think, okay, so you don't have to admit anything, but you can't just stand there and be like, I've never had a surgery.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Just say nothing.
It's just tough because, you know, everyone's entitled to privacy, but when you have such a huge platform and the youth of America follows you,
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, when I was growing up, I feel like the people I idolized were like the main pop girls of the 2000s, like Britney Spears, I guess Christina Aguilera, like who else was around that time? Lindsay Lohan, Paris Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it was all Britney. Like I idolized Britney. I wanted to be Britney. I wanted to look like Britney.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine that now that happens to young girls with the Kardashians.
But I think it's more so because we didn't have 24/7 access.
Yeah, and anytime I saw Britney Spears like performing and stuff, it was like I knew, you know, she had her hair done, her makeup done, a stylist.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you saw her like in paparazzi shots, homegirl was like barefoot.
Oh my god, yes.
Cheetos, like, you know.
Oh my god.
Like, oh, you're a normal person sometimes.
My favorite one is where she's stuffing all the McDonald's fries into her mouth because that's what I do.
Oh my god. I adore her. But,
what a queen.
Right? But you're right. I didn't have 24. I wish I would have had 24 access.
Oh my god. You do now.
But that was probably part of the problem back then. But no, you're right. The Kardashians are everywhere. Can't escape them.
Well, I think I have escaped them. That's why sometimes I forget that they exist because I'm not on social media all the time.
You're not?
No.
I've gotten really TikTok obsessed lately.
Really? What has happened to you? We don't even use our TikTok.
Like, I don't even use TikTok, but I just like scrolling through it. Like, I think TikTok has helped me more than my therapist.
Why?
Just therapy TikTok.
What? I'm very confused about this.
Why?
What is therapy TikTok?
It's the part of TikTok where people just give therapy advice, I guess.
What?
And like self-help advice, I guess. Yeah. I found out there's a thing called art therapy, which I didn't know.
Oh, it's like the music one, right?
Yeah, but art. So, yeah, check it out.
That's nice. I don't think I'm going to, but
fine, do whatever you want. It's a free country.
I am so scared of going on TikTok ever since you said that you liked it so much.
Why? Because you get obsessed?
Yeah, and then when I start getting obsessed, I just delete stuff.
Yeah, I'm probably due for a little, what is it?
Hard reset?
Detox. Yeah.
What's been going on with you?
Honestly, it's been really boring. I got sick, so that ruined spring break for me. And really all I did was, I went to my first concert since pandemic times, you know?
Whose concert was it?
The Killers at the Chelsea.
Oh my god, beautiful.
It was beautiful. Brandon Flowers. Chef's kiss.
Isn't Brandon Flowers a Mormon, though?
He is.
I didn't know that until really recently.
Yeah, he is. He even does, like, commercials and stuff for the Mormon church.
What?
Yeah. Also, he was rocking bell-bottoms, and I'm going to say right here, right now, I think I want a pair of bell-bottoms. I used to have bell-bottoms when I was, like, 13, and I thought I was so hot in them. So...
Hold on. When did the skinny jeans thing happen for you? Like, the wave. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. It was definitely like in high school.
Was it late in high school for you?
No. I think it was like probably my sophomore year. It was all skinny jeans for me.
Yeah. But when I was in middle school, that's when it happened. And my parents thought that they were like for sluts.
Skinny jeans were for sluts?
Yeah. Well, remember, people used to wear them like really tight, like circulation.
Balls kind of tight.
Yeah.
But see, that's why we need feminism. You should be able to wear whatever you want.
I know.
Even tight ass circulation cutting
I
skinny
just
jeans.
don't understand. Maybe because everybody was wearing bell bottoms and like straight leg jeans for such a long time, why we were all so obsessed with skinny jeans. Because that shit was not comfortable.
And not flattering on a lot of people.
I know.
So how do you feel about the trend, skinny jeans are kind of out, on the way out?
Oh, I kind of love it.
Yeah?
I mean, I still have form-fitting jeans, but they're not skinny jeans.
But I feel like when you're short, it's so hard to find jeans that fit right. Like all my jeans, I have to alter them.
Oh yeah, I always get them altered too.
Hemmed. Same. Samesies.
But then it's kind of nice because then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can get anything altered.
Do you like go somewhere to get it altered, or do it yourself?
No, I go somewhere. Sometimes when I'm busy, I'll do it myself.
When you're not busy, you mean?
Oh yeah, when I'm not busy. Yeah. Okay, so this week we're gonna talk about feminism. So,
good old feminism.
Can you define feminism? Like a dictionary define it.
Well, the dictionary definition is feminism, the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. So, Jess, are you a feminist? Do you fancy yourself a feminist?
Oh yeah, of course. I am definitely a feminist. Are you?
Yes, but I feel like some people don't want to be labeled feminists.
What do you think that is?
Because I think like in any movement, the radical side of the movement is the one that gets the attention. So I feel like there is like an extremist radical side to feminism. Where I feel like at that point the meaning's kind of lost. Like, have you ever seen those like designs or memes or that say boys tears, boy tears, or men tears, and it's like a little like a bottle?
No.
Or like, you never seen it?
No.
I always see it online, or like little quotes that say like, I drink boy tears for breakfast. And it's like a feminist thing, but that's the thing. Feminism is for everyone. It's even for boys and men, and we shouldn't want to make men cry.
I know. And also, I think for me, I don't even think it's the radicals that like fuck everything or make women not want to be feminists. I think it's just like for a long time in every society, like Indian society, from what I read, like Roman society, women had almost equal or way more rights. And then there was a point where they were like, no more rights. No, we're done. Which is kind of crazy because it makes sense because you're trying to control the people that produce the next generation of your culture. Yeah. So it kind of does make sense. Like, I mean, why was marriage created? For that. So, and I think people are comfortable because I don't know what to call it, like sexism, expectations for women in the house and at work. Those kind of things have been around for so long that women are like, yeah, who wouldn't want to stay home, take care of kids? You don't have to work. But then I don't understand, do what you want. I have nothing bad to say about those people. But for me, I'm like a pessimist. I could never stay home because then it's because I have the internet pretty much. I am so scared that if I were to stay home, that like, what's your escape route? How are you going to escape? You know what I mean? Like a bad situation.
Bathroom breaks. You're just hiding in the bathroom. But that's the point. You should have the choice. And for a long time, women didn't have a choice. And now it's like you can choose, but I feel like women are still really demonized and criticized when they choose anything outside of the heteronormative,
And I think it's both sides. I think people that define themselves as feminists, they look down on the women that want to stay home and are like homemakers. And then the women that are homemakers, they look at people that call themselves feminists or women that work, and they're like, why would you ever want to do that? You know what I mean? So it's like both sides battling each other. Me, myself, I don't really care. I mean, I care as long as I have the right to do stuff. But if you're staying home, that's your business. You know what I mean? If you want to work, great.
Well, what does feminism mean to you?
Me, it means I'm an equal to men. I get paid the same. I do the same work, stuff like that. I get the same benefits.
Yeah. Well, to me, feminism, to me, it's like having the same opportunities regardless of your gender. And being able to make the same choices that men get without even thinking about it, from really important things to like owning property and running for president. Like, women should be able to do that. But then there's the little things too, like I want to be able to walk down the street at night without fearing that I'm going to get raped and murdered, or personally, I don't want to show my nipples everywhere, but why can't women show their nipples?
Oh my
gosh.
Like,
men nipples are everywhere. Okay?
Because
it's
men,
just a nipple.
Men make nipples and like breasts sexual.
That
is so crazy because I don't even know how to explain it. It's like for babies. It's, you know what I mean? It's how you...
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, women should be able to breastfeed wherever the hell they want. And I feel like it shouldn't be a big deal, but it kind of is sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
And
that's so true.
I feel like it's just another way to control women's bodies. Yeah.
How do you feel about Kentucky? They did the same thing as Texas, where like
abortion's illegal. I mean, I'm totally pro-choice, so.
So I was having a thought the other day.
Boo, not cool.
Me too. I think it's boo, not cool. But then I was having a thought. Sometimes, occasionally, I have them. I don't think people like they're like, oh, boo. These guys are so ignorant, but really they are. What kind of people live in Kentucky? Or like Texas is made up of 4 big cities. The cities are pretty liberal-ish.
Liberal-leaning.
But they're mostly made up of tiny towns. Like, what kind of people live in those places? I knew a girl when I was living in San Antonio that had never left Texas. Is that not batshit crazy to you? Do you think these people are like world travelers?
Doesn't sound like it.
Exactly. So how do you, like, back in the day when people wanted to like open their minds up to new ideas, new concepts, like, I don't want to say, European people used to go on like grand tours of Europe and experience different cultures and like get different perspectives. If you stay in the same place for the majority of your life and the generations before you did the same thing, all you're going to hear
is like an echo chamber.
Exactly. Just like the internet can sometimes be.
True.
So no wonder those people think like that. I mean, not that I can help them,
But I mean, I'm sure there's people in these states that don't think like that. They're just outnumbered, I think. And it's really similar, I think, to where we live. We live in Nevada. Nevada, if you took away Las Vegas, Nevada would be a red state. It'd be conservative. Because there's so many tiny towns, and Las Vegas or Clark County is really like the one big city, right? I mean, there's like Reno and Carson City, but they're not that big either.
No.
So really, I mean, I think we're at an advantage with that because I feel like laws are made and broken by Las Vegas votes. So, like, was it last year that, or whatever the last local election was, where it got voted into the Nevada Constitution about marriage. They took out the term that marriage is between a man and a woman. So I feel like that happened because
of Vegas.
Exactly.
That's true. It is made or broken in for Vegas. That's why I never understood why Vegas wasn't the capital. Carson City is so fucking far up north.
I know.
I've only
ever driven up to Carson City.
Yeah, because I was driving up to Tahoe. So I've been to Carson City once.
Me too, just once. But it's like there's nothing. It's all desert from Las Vegas to...
Oh my gosh. But there's also brothels. I did see those.
That is true. And while we're on the topic of brothels, how do you feel about sex work?
This is another thing. Mostly you'll notice my opinion is if it doesn't harm anybody else, who fucking cares? So if there are women or men that are sex workers, I don't know, good for you. If that's what you want to do, as long as somebody's not making you do it, work, queen.
And I mean, it definitely makes it safer, I think, to legalize it. And I think that gives women more power, in those situations. Which I think is, again, a big part of why it's not legalized, because that would give the women, sex workers in general, more power.
Why it's not legalized in Vegas?
Well, it's legal in Nevada, right? But it's not legal in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Like countrywide or worldwide. I think that's why, the Bunny Ranch here is so famous. And then, when people talk about, Amsterdam and the Red District, that's, like a big out-of-the-norm thing people go to see because prostitution's legal there.
I mean, to be fair, it's just kind of like the weed thing. Or even now, the abortion thing. The government thinks they're going to stop people. That's not going to stop anybody.
Exactly. These things are still going to happen. They're just going to be unsafe.
Yeah. And I think that with the weed thing especially, I think the government was like, at some point, they were like, oh my fucking God, we're losing out on so much money. Yeah, they were like, okay, fuck it, let's do this.
And that's a sad thing. Money rules everything.
It does.
But again, it's for years and millennia, women's bodies have been so sexualized, but then when women want to use their sexuality for profit, it's like, no, you're a whore and you're dirty and gross. Stop it.
Oh my God, should we talk about the concept of virginity?
Yes, and let's start by saying that virginity is a social construct made by the patriarchy to control women. Amen.
Can you explain why you think that?
Because, this is honestly, I didn't think this always growing up. I was definitely, growing up, I was taught that you wait till marriage, and if you have sex with a bunch of people, your husband's not going to want you, and, But I believe virginity is a social construct because I just feel like virginity puts penises on a pedestal, like they are this grand, amazing thing that men own, and they get to tell us as women our value depending on, whether a penis has, I don't know how to say this without being graphic, but I just feel like it places so much, virginity places so much importance on a male appendage when, that has nothing to do with me. As a woman, I am who I am before or after your penis. You know what I mean?
Yes, go off, Denise.
It's like learning to ride a bike, before you ride a bike, if you were a baddie, you're a baddie after you ride a bike. And I feel like it's the same thing with sex, I do think sex is an important part of life. It shouldn't be taken lightly because, especially for women, you can become pregnant and that's a whole other thing. So I don't take sex lightly, but I just don't agree with placing so much importance on penetration.
Well, also, scientifically, they can never tell if you're a virgin, right? Yeah, because you can break. I don't understand the hymen thing, but I know that if you have sex for the first time, yes, it's going to be a little uncomfortable, but if it hurts,
you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. And I was always told when I was younger, oh, it's going to hurt the first time. That is not good, okay?
Yeah, that's what I always got drilled into me too. It's gonna hurt and you're gonna bleed. And it wasn't until I was an adult that, I learned or realized these poor women are bleeding because just Lube, people. Lube.
Or, like, inexperience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't understand. I mean, I don't know. Because school, they're so gung-ho on, like, being anti, like, I mean,
sex ed?
Exactly. Like, they did teach me how to put on a condom. Thank you. We also always ate pancakes on Fridays.
What does that have to do with
exactly,
sex ed?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But but basically it was just kind of more like, oh, so don't have sex.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, like, great. That didn't help me a lot. And anyways, back then, the internet, it was like a new frontier. You know what I mean? I didn't think to Google stuff because people didn't do that back then.
I have to give a shout out to the OG Sue Johansson. Did you ever watch her show?
Is it the old lady?
The old lady that gives sex advice.
On Oxygen?
Yes.
Yes, queen.
I used to watch her, like, late at night when everyone's sleeping in my house. And that's where I got, and thank God I went to this queen, Sue Johansson, rather than just the internet. Because I feel like, you know, I got factual information. I probably had no business at that age watching that. I was not having sex. So, but I learned a lot. Thank you, Sue.
Exactly. I remember this one time where she was reviewing sex toys and she did a cone and I was like, she was reviewing it and I was like, oh my God, did she sit on this huge cone? What is happening?
You know, she has her own line of sex toys.
Shut up.
And she's on the cover of all of them.
I fucking love that. I need to go find this woman.
She's
love her.
90-something now.
I would like to put her on my top fave women because she did teach me about sex. Thank you, amen.
I was going to say, talk about feminist icons. Okay, so our first feminist icon, Sue Johansson.
Everybody, applause. Thank you. What a woman. We love her.
Right.
Oh, and she would take questions. I like that. At least somebody was teaching us something. Fuck.
Right?
Did your mother ever have a talk with you?
My sex talk came. So maybe this is TMI, but I got my period at 9 years old. Okay. So my sex talk was when I got my period at 9 years old, as my mom was like showing me how to put a pad in my underwear, she said, now you can have babies. That's all she said to me. And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I was 9. I could have taken that as like, oh, I can go
have babies.
I literally didn't know what to do with that. I was just like, okay. So
I love that.
That was my sex talk. What about you?
Me, I got my period when I was 10. My parents were not prepared for that. And also, nobody had told me about periods. Mm-hmm. So, because the video in 5th grade hadn't happened, the one where they separate the boys and the girls.
Oh, I got that.
Really?
Yeah. But they never showed me how to put a condom on.
No.
But I got the period talk in 5th grade, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't get it. I hadn't gotten that yet. Mm-hmm. I hadn't watched it. So I thought I was fucking dying. Mm-hmm. And then I...
Like Carrie status?
Yeah, Carrie? I have. And then my period talk didn't come... not my period talk. My sex talk didn't come until I was like maybe 8th grade, 9th grade. Mm-hmm. And my mom told me, she goes, boys only want one thing. And I was like, oh my God. Because by then I had known what sex was. And then she went on this whole spiel. And I'm at that age where I don't want to fucking hear it. Mm-hmm. And then also I was like, well, what if I want it?
Exactly.
Why do they treat women like we don't have any sexual desire?
It's so weird. Like, women are so sexualized, but at the same time, exactly, they're not sexual beings. Mm-hmm. Sex is for men.
Exactly.
That's what I was told growing up, basically.
That is fucking insane. Like, we have... I don't know. I don't like... Well, the first couple of times I had sex, I felt so guilty. And
it's that nice Catholic guilt.
Exactly. I felt so guilty. And at that point, I wasn't like all about the Jesus stuff. Mm-hmm. But I still felt like I feel bad. You know what I mean? Because
you're not worthy. Or that's, you know, kind of what gets drilled into your brain. Mm-hmm. That you lose value by not waiting.
Oh my God. There used to be a boy that used to say all the time, he was a Mexican boy. So I kind of understood, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's like from like a culture similar to mine where he'd be like, well, girls cannot have sex all the time because, like, he would say something about a key, like keys can go to a lot of holes, but or no, if a key can go into a lot of holes, it's a good key. But if a lock
can be opened by lots of keys.
Yeah, it's not a good lock.
What?
Isn't that insane?
That is. Oh my gosh. That's insane. Like, I know another one I've heard, it never got said to me, but I read it online somewhere about like I follow a lot of like extreme like Christians.
What?
Not like them, but I like the whole like the fundamentalist Christian movement. Is like pretty crazy. Like, I don't know if you've ever looked into it, like the mega churches, preachers in sneakers, like all that stuff. But I saw this video of someone's talking about they have a cup and there's a group of kids and they pass the cup around and they tell everyone to spit in the cup.
Ew.
So everyone spits in the cup and then the last person they go, okay, drink this. And they're like, no, that's gross. And they're like, that's what happens. The cup is a woman and everyone spitting in it are men having sex with her. Who wants the cup with all the spit in it? No one wants it.
Okay, so that is disgusting. But also, see, I had to go through this my whole life. The same thing could be said about men.
But it's not.
Exactly. And also, if you're having safe sex and taking precautions, all kinds of precautions, using condoms, getting tested when you switch partners, I don't see the problem in having sex with more than okay, what's an acceptable number when you were growing up for girls?
Like what I was told?
Yeah.
Like what I believed?
Obviously one, right?
Yes.
But like in your friend group?
Maybe like 2 or 3.
Yeah?
Tops, yeah.
I don't want to see how many people I've had sex with.
You don't have to. That's okay. Nobody's business.
Thank you, but it's way more than that. Anyways, but in my friend group too, it was like, oh, okay, well, one, you're just getting it out of the way, which isn't, oh my God, that's so crazy that girls feel like they have to get it out of the way. And then 2, you're like, oh, you're kind of serious. And then 3 is going to be your husband, pretty much.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
But I think it all goes back to women being viewed as property for so many years. Like, go back 100, 200 years, right? Women were viewed as property. And I was reading about this, about how I was trying to research how far does a patriarchy go back? Like,
oh my God, all the way.
Start, right? Yeah, I read that it was something like, it dates back like 10,000 years back or something. But I was reading about how back then, because they didn't have paternity tests and all this, and having heirs was so important, to pass down property, that's where it started. That men wanted to control women so that they could be sure of the paternity of their children. So how do you control that? By like isolating women, making them property, and not making sure they don't have sex with anybody else but their husband, right? I forgot where I was going with this, but that's fucked up. Basically.
That is fucked up. And also, back in the day, obviously I'm speaking as an American, so from an American perspective, because I don't even know that much about my own culture. I don't think history goes back that far for me, except for when like the Spanish people landed and then they started recording stuff. Anyways, in American history, North American, European history, when women were pregnant, they were like, okay, bitches, you think you have a social life? Fuck off. Now you stay inside all day.
You're a mom now.
You're a mom now. Well, actually, no. The rich people, they had to stay inside, and then they had the kid, and then the kids would fuck off to the nanny. So if you're poor, no, that was not the case. Isn't that crazy? But like, I hate, like, as an adult now, seeing how much shit I had to put up with, growing up and being like too scared to say stuff. Because that's a thing too. Women are scared to speak up. They're scared to have take up space, stuff like that. I am not scared of those things anymore. Because I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe how much I let other people's opinions control me or being scared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Do you think, because like we're older, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most people that I meet get married and have kids when they're young.
Yeah.
But I think because I'm older now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, that would have been awful if I
Yeah.
was 23 and got married and had a kid. Because then how do you experience? I mean, I guess you could go around the world, have fun. I guess I could do that with one kid.
But it's like, that's the thing. Like, why aren't there more choices? Like, why is everyone especially women, is expected to basically, you go to school, you get married, you have kids, and that's your life?
Oh
Like,
my God.
why? And then, like, you don't have to have kids, you know, but I feel like there's so much pressure on women to reproduce because that's basically what we've been told our whole lives is our purpose.
Oh God. Anyways, do you think it's crazy? We've been going on for a long time. Do you think it's crazy that people have, like, everybody, let's just say in our culture, has like a set path? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you go to school, you graduate high school, then you go to college, then you get married, then you have kids, then you retire. And that's supposed to be like things you hit.
Yeah.
I have failed some of those things.
Have you failed though, or is it just society making you feel like you failed?
I used to feel like I had failed. Now I don't, because even my parents don't understand, like, when I practice like graphic design on my own terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to school for that anymore. In like a traditional school. My parents are like, why wouldn't you go to school? You get a certificate. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to get a certificate for that I can figure out myself or pay for courses myself that are way cheaper than college courses?
Yeah.
Who the fuck goes to school for graphic design?
Well, I think it's because our parents and like those past generations, they that's how they grew up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do this, and that's a good life. But by the time, you know, we became adults, that wasn't the case. Like, it was hard to buy a house. It was hard to pay for college. Like, it was hard to afford having a family. It still is, you know? So I think that's why a lot of millennials and Gen Zers, you know, veered off to different paths and not doing things so traditional because that option was kind of fucked for us.
It was fucked. I cannot believe, like, I didn't realize until I started doing research how much cheaper houses were.
Oh, yeah. And college.
I know. Bitch, in France, they go to college for free.
Oh my gosh, I know. I was reading about how Denmark is like one of the best places to live in the world. Free everything, 1 year maternity leave.
I would love to check out Europe. I always thought I would want to go to the UK, but the people from the UK, they're kind of like Americans with an accent. Because they're like, they have their own Trump, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have, like, when the American, like here in the States, when people are like, why are you wearing a mask? First of all, no one had ever said that to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had seen people being like, oh, why are you wearing a mask? You don't have to wear a mask. In the UK, I think they were doing the same fucking thing.
Really?
Yeah.
But wouldn't you say we're like the UK with a different accent? Because we speak English because of them.
Yeah, well, it's true, but we are bigger.
Oh, yeah.
I think they consume more of our media than we do of their media.
Well, that's true. For now, at least.
Mm-hmm. I love the UK. I love UK comedies. I like Dairy Girls. That's always been my jam.
Like right now, I'm binging Sex Education on Netflix, and there's this scene where all the girls get detention together, and their assignment is to find something they have in common, that they all have in common. Do you remember this episode?
Yeah.
So the thing they have in common, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, is unsolicited dicks. That's what they come up with. And they all talk about how, you know, they all at some point in their life have gotten like creepy male attention without asking for it, you know? From being followed home after work to like one of them's like a little girl in the pool. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And some guy shows her his penis, so then she's not allowed to go to the pool anymore. And that's why we need feminism, because how fucked up is it to a little girl that you were basically sexually harassed at a public pool, and now you don't get to go to the pool because a man exposed himself to you? Like, what does that do to a little girl's psyche? And I feel like that happens all the time.
Oh my God, all the time.
Like, we're always taught
that men have, like, the right to your body.
Exactly. And, don't ask for it, don't dress a certain way. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think I always learned, well, no, I always thought that it was strange. Like, okay, so for example, I don't even know where I'm going, but like when women get rejected by men, they fix themselves, right? Or quote unquote fix themselves into what that certain person would want, right? So girls do that all the time. I've done it multiple times. But when men get rejected by women, they become school shooters. Because instead of fixing or growing as a person, or maybe going to get a haircut, go getting nice clothes, you know what I mean? Wearing cologne, they're like, oh, it's not my problem. It's not me. It's her. Yeah. And women are like, oh, it's me, not him.
Yeah, some men have a really hard time being told no.
I say no all the time.
I know, and that's the thing that I've had to work on. It's like, you can't be afraid to be rude sometimes, because sometimes when you're nice, like, that no just doesn't stick.
Oh my God, I know. As a person that is queer, I feel like queer is such a, like, whatever, I don't want to say whatever label, but like a, you know what I mean, mysterious label. I feel like it would be more safe for me to say I have a boyfriend than I have a girlfriend, because men
sexualize lesbians.
Yeah, and also they respect another man. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, okay. But if I was like, oh, I have a girlfriend, it would turn into like a weird thing. Which is like too much for me. Also, I'm very confrontational nowadays.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's because I work with kids, and kids are so wild and out of control. I always have to like wrangle them back in.
Yeah.
History of movements. But let me just say, before we start on history of the feminist movement, is it not weird that, like, because I was just telling Denise this off, our podcast, that me and my youngest brother are close, like super close. He's like my best friend, and he always says I'm his best friend. But we're close because I had to raise him. Like, he's like almost my kid.
Well, I mean, that to me ties into feminism, because the daughters and families are always tasked, like they have more pressure put on them and more things that are expected of them, like being a caretaker.
Yeah, like when Nicholas used to have to go to middle school in the morning, and I've already started going to college, I would take him to school. My mom would forget to give him his lunch money. I would give him his lunch money. Aww. I would pick him up from school. Even when he went to high school, he would always ask me to go to his like improv plays and stuff. And so I would always go.
Well, he's lucky to have you.
Thank you so much. Your brother's lucky to have you.
Thanks. I haven't talked to him in like months. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I know.
He doesn't like text you?
No.
What the fuck?
Unless he gets in a fight with my mom, then he does.
Oh my God.
But that's another story for another day.
Anyways, feminist movements, because there have been waves of feminism in modern times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just to clarify, we're focused. I'm guessing we're focusing on like the American feminist movement, since we live in the U.S. So from what I read, the first wave of feminism was all centered around
the suffragettes, right?
Yes.
Badass bitches.
And they wanted the right to vote. And those baddies got us the right to vote.
Thank you.
And I think people forget that, and that's why it makes me upset sometimes when feminism gets a bad name, or, people are anti-feminism, and when those people are women, I just don't get it, because I'm like, now you get to reject feminism because you have
the right
to reject it, Now you can own property, now you can vote, you can do all these things. What?
I just remembered something. Oh my God, let me speak. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
Go ahead.
I didn't learn until recently that women could not have their own bank account until the 70s. And so
Crazy.
it was super hard to divorce their husbands because they couldn't.
They weren't financially.
Yeah. So when the 70s, late 70s, I think it was, happened, all these bitches got divorces because they could have their own bank accounts.
That was the second wave.
Thank you.
But yeah, anything else on the first wave?
I know that it kind of coincided with, like, the suffragette movement coincided with kind of the very, very early stages of
civil rights.
Yeah, civil rights. Or not civil rights, the slavery.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Yeah. So the proclamation, I don't even know what it is. Anyway, slavery. So then I know that the people in that movement, they came together. They're like, as Black men, why should we have the right to vote when women are not allowed to vote? Shouldn't we all be able to vote? And I was like, fuck.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, don't we all have to pay fucking taxes? Shit.
And that's what I wish would happen now, you know? That all these oppressed minorities would come together again.
Because Black Lives Matter is kind of just like the feminist movement. It's not that they think, from what I understand, that Black lives are more important. It's that they're just as important.
Yeah.
Because, like, the media, the government, the police, when a Black person dies, it's not as important as when, like, a white person.
White lady goes missing.
Exactly. So obviously there are these disparages in, like, who matters, who doesn't fucking matter. And that's fucked up because we all pay taxes and we all have human rights. God, fuck.
No, you're totally right. And there's this quote, I think it's from Rent, I'm going to say, but there's a song that says, today for you, tomorrow for me. And that's really how I feel about, like, you know, Black Lives Matters and the Me Too movement and just anything. Like, you can't expect support if you don't support other people when they need it, you know?
Well, we support you. I don't support when people start setting shit on fire and breaking stuff, but I do support the message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The spirit.
Well, you know, when it was happening and when the riots happened, right? Like last year, the year before, with the Black Lives Matter movement, I was kind of conflicted too. Like, you know, there's all this property being damaged, but you know what? Like, I get it now. Like, people are mad. Like, being nice and silent and following the rules has gotten them nowhere. You know, so it's like, I get why people are mad, and it kind of sucks, but I will say, whether it's, you know, Black Lives Matter or feminist or whatever, if you're gonna protest and you have to set something on fire, please do a Target or a Walmart or some big corporation, because they can take it, okay? And they're part of the problem sometimes. But I do feel bad when it's like little mom and pop shops, you know?
I will never forget the last time I went to San Diego. I forgot why they were protesting. They were protesting for something. Something was happening in California. I forget. But anyways, I was driving past Chase. You know, I was out there trying to get some money out of the ATM. Bitch, Chase was burnt down. The sign was like all fucking, the whole building, I swear to God, was to a crisp. I said, fuck, now where am I going to get money out of? You know?
Oh my gosh. First world problems, though, right?
I know. That's crazy. Okay. So what was the second movement?
So the second wave of feminism was like from between the 60s to the 80s, mostly the 70s. And while the first wave focused on women's right to vote, the second wave focused on sexuality, family, the workplace, reproductive rights, and official legal inequalities. And that's what you were talking about. Official legal inequalities, women being able to have their own bank accounts, owning property, being able to travel without their husband's consent. So that was all. And I think that's the one, when you say feminism, that's what I think of, you know, Gloria Steinem. And that's the one that was first wave, went hand in hand with abolishing slavery. Second wave went hand in hand with the civil rights movement.
Yes,
they were happening at the same time. I
also read like a story about how, like, what do you call it? The the beauty pageant, Miss
Miss
America.
America?
Miss America, they were like, the feminists back then, they were like, oh, this is fucked, because this is just giving in to like the viewpoint of men, what men want.
Mm-hmm.
So they had their own fucking pageant.
Really?
Yeah, where they started burning shit.
That
And I
sounds
was
amazing.
like, yes, queens.
Oh, is this when they were burning bras?
Yeah, and other stuff
Love
too.
It. Love
Bras.
It. See, sometimes you gotta burn some shit.
I love it. I love how crazy. You know what? I don't think I truly understand, because I was never like that oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck, they must have been angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were, I think it has to do too with the availability of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're in a bubble and you don't realize, you know what I mean? A bird in a cage is not ever going to know the joys of flying. So there is more access to libraries in small towns, in big towns. There's more magazines. These magazines are more liberal.
And I mean, it sounds cheesy, but knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge is power. Grab it while you can. Did you ever hear that in school?
No.
Okay, I'm old. But anyway, that goes with how women, weren't allowed to go to college for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Women weren't allowed to learn. Women weren't allowed to have a job.
And why do you think that was? Because they knew if you educate someone,
Mm-hmm.
it opens their eyes to all the fucked up things you've done to them.
Exactly. So, should we move on to the third wave?
Yeah, this is about working, right?
The third wave?
Is it or no?
Kind of. Well, what I wrote down was that the third wave was about intersectional feminism, the idea that women experience layers of oppression caused, for example, by gender, race, and class. And the third wave of feminism took place in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the idea came up that, feminism isn't the same for everybody, and certain women have privileges.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, say it. We'll say it together. White women.
Yes, white women experience oppression based on their sex, but they also have opportunities afforded to them that women of color, women in the LGBTQ community, and disabled women don't have,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I just think it's crazy that it wasn't until the 90s that
they were like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then the fourth wave was recent, from the 2010s to now.
So it's ongoing.
Yeah, that's what we're in right
now. That's what is it? Oh, fuck.
The Me Too movement.
Exactly.
And the fourth wave of feminism that we're in right now focuses on the empowerment of women.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the Me Too movement, mm-hmm. Which, what a time, right?
What a time. I feel like we were born the perfect time for us.
Yes, but, there's still work to be done, mm-hmm. And I feel like just out of respect for all of these women that had it so hard before us, and because of them we have...
Moment of silence. I'm just joking.
Okay, so, because they had it rough, okay? Mm-hmm. And yes, we have so many liberties now, but there's still work to be done, at least in my opinion.
I know. I think so too, I mean, for everybody, because I think recently, because of the internet, the internet, mm-hmm. You hear other people's voices, you gain knowledge, you gain insight, you gain different perspectives. Everybody collectively was like, oh, it's kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked here.
I mean, we haven't even had a female president. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we have our first female vice president right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how that doesn't shock people. Like, look at, how every president puts up a portrait? Mm-hmm. All white men, all really old white men, literally until Obama.
Thank you. Who is very recent.
And that's it. Yeah, exactly. And same thing for vice presidents. Have there been vice presidents of color? No. All white men?
Mm-hmm. Until recently.
Until now. Exactly. And I love what Kamala Harris said in her speech when she became vice president. She said that she's the first female vice president, but she will not be the last.
Thank you, amen.
But yeah, until there's like Ruth. I'm sorry, I just love a good quote. Ruth Bader Ginsburg saying when they asked her, when will there be enough women on the Supreme Court? You know what she said?
What?
When they're all women.
Oh my gosh, yes, queen.
So, where do you think the future of feminism is going?
I mean, I think it's going towards, I can't believe women are still not being paid the same as men.
Right?
That is insane to me. But I think it's going towards that way. And like men actually respecting women, respecting their spaces, knowing they're not property, knowing you can't just touch anyone without their permission. I think too, men take feminism as an insult to them, or like as like a challenge when they're like, okay, you want to be equals? Well, that means I get to hit you too. No one should be hitting anyone.
Exactly.
No one should be hitting anyone. Are you psycho?
That is crazy to me that that's where it goes with some people.
I know. No one, you should not be putting your fucking hands on somebody, okay? That is crazy. Unless you work in like boxing, UFC, fitness, don't touch anybody, okay?
Did you know that women were not allowed to participate in boxing in the Olympics until 2012?
Oh my god.
That is
it just gets worse and worse.
Yes.
It just gets worse and worse. Oh my gosh.
What's I gonna say?
Okay. So, Denise, what are your top fave women from history? The baddies.
The baddies? Well, there are so many baddies.
Every woman is a baddie.
Thank you. Yes.
Give in to your baddiness. And also, I think women have, sorry, I don't know, I'm switching subjects again.
No, go for it.
I think women that don't support feminism honestly just want the approval of men. They're like, I don't want to say, oh, they're pick-me's. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah. But I feel like everyone has to come
to it themselves
on their own timeline and on their own terms. You can't force somebody to, you can't be like, you're oppressed, this is wrong, if they're happy being oppressed, you know? And
some people are. I understand how it must be. To some people, staying at home is fun. I stayed at home for COVID. It was fucking awesome.
Well, for me, like, being a stay-at-home mom to me doesn't mean that you're not a feminist. To me, it's just having the option to choose, and it truly being your option, you know? Because let's say just because you choose to get married doesn't mean you have to have kids, you know? And just because you have a kid doesn't mean you have to get married, and all these things, you know? Like, for me, feminism is just every woman choosing whatever the hell they want to do with their life.
Having choices.
Exactly.
Being treated as an equal. And also, maybe we should, like, update what marriage is.
Yes.
Like, you know, like, for some reason, even me, I was born in the 90s. And even when I think of marriage, I think of, like, oh, somebody goes to work. Somebody makes the majority of the money, because that's the way it was in my house. And so that person has more control.
Yeah. But I totally blanked right now.
Oh my god. How about just being like, you both agree to come into a marriage, you're both equals.
Yeah. Exactly. And also, stay-at-home dads.
Go off,
don't
queen.
Make fun of them. Okay?
I know.
And that's another thing. I think feminism needs to be around until feminine things are not viewed as an insult or viewed as less. And that to me means, like, if a man wants to wear a dress, it shouldn't be like, is it that insulting to be woman-like or feminine, you know?
I mean, honestly, who cares? It's a piece of fabric. Just like saying blue is a boy's color. Blue is a fucking color.
And actually, if you go back, pink used to be a male color for royalty. That's another story for another day. And I could go off on such a tangent about this, but this is where you see feminism isn't just for women, it's for men too, because men should be allowed to have feelings, to have emotions, to be stay-at-home dads,
to wear makeup,
or dresses or heels or whatever the hell they want. And in turn, same for women. Women should wear whatever they want, look however they want, as long as it's not hurting anyone. I don't see the problem.
Me either. Let's get back to who your favorite baddies are. Go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like the first one has to be Frida Kahlo.
Yes.
Way ahead of her time. Amazing artist, born in Mexico. Not straight, queer icon, I'd say. Queer feminist icon.
Yes.
So, and I mean, for her time, that was so unheard of, to be bisexual, to be a sexual being, female being at that time. So props to her.
Yes, go off. I love her. And
yes.
also she had an unconventional marriage.
Yeah. So
she would not be told what to do.
She lived out of the box.
Exactly.
Out of the comfort zone. Who do you got?
I have, my first one is Victoria Woodhull. She was the first woman to run for president, even though she was not 35, so they didn't count her. I think she ran against Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh, shit.
So this was during like the Civil War. Yeah, no, I was right. So what about it? You know what I mean?
But again, so ahead of her time.
Exactly.
This is what we need. You go, girl. That must have been so scary for her.
Exactly. And also, she was against abortion. I mean, she wasn't against abortion. She was pro-choice.
Okay. So my next one is, I feel like we can't not talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Queen.
Total queen. I feel like she still had so much more work to do, but I hope wherever she is, she's happy and at peace. But again, I feel like all the women brought up, trailblazers, light years ahead of their time. And if you haven't seen On the Basis of Sex, the movie, go watch it.
I will go watch it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Go watch it.
Okay.
Now.
What is it about?
It's about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Is it one of her cases?
Yeah.
Okay.
The big one.
Okay, my next one, Cleopatra. Obvious reasons.
I mean, fucking iconic.
I know. Stole the kingdom back from her brother, seduced Caesar, and then when Caesar, fucking died, she seduced the next one, Mark Antony, who also had control over Rome. Or not control, but he was you know what I mean?
Was he emperor?
No, he was an emperor. The first emperor is the one that killed Cleopatra. But there was a thing called the Triumvirate, which was 3 people ruling Rome. So it was Caesar, Mark Antony, and his name later was Augustus. I forget his name before he became emperor.
So you change your name when you become emperor?
He was the first emperor, and he decided to change his name.
Okay.
Yeah. So, of course, you know what I mean? She was fighting battles. She was seducing people's husbands, and then just seducing generals. She, kept her empire on point.
Using her sexuality to empower herself.
Exactly.
Reign. Props to her. The last one I have is a more modern one, but it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. She is from New York.
Okay.
She is Hispanic. She is amazing. Look her up. I mean, I just love her. I don't know if you ever saw it, but literally as she was walking into, what is it?
Congress?
Yes, as she was walking into Congress, she's a congresswoman, some white congressman called her a bitch in front of reporters. And she gave this amazing speech in Congress about that, about that other congressman calling her a bitch. It is so moving and empowering. Also watch that.
I will watch that. I had heard about that, but I never saw the speech.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that is what boggles my mind. And, like, this is a professional environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where is it okay for a coworker to, like, harass you like that? And much more in government, and, like, nothing happens. Like, I'm gonna get all mad. I'm just gonna move on.
I also agree with that. I think in professional environments, or just like I don't understand why people can't just be chill. You know what I mean?
Just
why
chill
can't
the fuck out.
I know. Why can't everybody just be chill? You know what I mean?
Oh, and AOC has this amazing quote. Again, with the quotes, but it's just short and sweet. Drink your water. Don't be racist.
Exactly.
Everyone did that?
Everybody chill. I think it's like people keep on wanting to one-up each other, you know what I mean? Because they've had privilege for so long, or like say they don't have a lot of privilege, but they have this one thing. They're white. They will use that to the best of their ability. They're like, man, I have no talents. I have no skill. I have no education. But guess what? I'm white.
Exactly.
And I'm going to let you know every single day, you're not white.
And I'm probably going to run for Senate and win. And that's that.
And that's fucking that.
Oh my gosh. But you want to hear something crazy?
What?
In Vermont, to this day, women must get the written consent from their husbands to get false teeth.
What?
Yes.
What the fuck?
This is still an active law.
Do people follow this?
No, not really. But just the fact that that's still out there, like, what the hell?
Oh my god. Hold on, that was your third, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my last one. I'm so sorry. These are all white women.
That's okay.
That's all I've got. Queen Elizabeth the First. Also, I'll take the second, but the first is my favorite one. Obviously, she united England. She saved the English from Spanish. What were the Spanish doing? The Spanish were upset that Elizabeth's dad was killing a lot of Catholics because they're Protestants. And also, he's told the Catholic Church to fuck off. He's now the Pope of England. And so the Spanish were super pissed. They tried to come over, fuck up England up. And Elizabeth said, "No, dog." And she burned down their ships in the middle of the ocean.
Again, sometimes you gotta burn shit, right?
I think that's badass. And also, it was the golden age. When she was alive, Shakespeare was alive. There was a lot of art. There was a lot of culture. When you put women in charge, everything's chill. You know, we like plays. We like everybody not being up in arms. Relax. Paint a picture. Well, okay, to wrap up the podcast... Hold on. Cut. I just sound stupid. Okay, to wrap up the podcast...
Don't ever say that about yourself ever again.
To wrap up the podcast, we're living, obviously, in a better time. We have a lot of liberties. Does that mean we should just be like, throw in the towel, we're satisfied with what we have? No. I think that it's unfair that it's all men on bills everywhere.
But slowly but surely, we're making progress. You know, we're going to have Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. We're getting new quarters with all women on them.
Yes. We need gays on the quarters.
We need gays everywhere. Okay?
Who would you vote to be on a quarter?
Like anyone?
Well, obviously they have to be American because it's American money. But it would be funny if they put, because Mexico used to own a large chunk of the United States.
That is true.
Put some respect on, Mexico's name.
Selena.
Put Selena. Yes, queen. Text exclusive.
Yes.
You know how they have the states? Like, each state has like a quarter, I think, for their quarter. They should put fucking Selena for Texas.
They totally should.
Who should they put for like California? A woman, an icon.
There's so many people from California.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of oh my god, who's the lady?
Fuck. I mean, we got like Rosa Parks, Gloria Steinem, Billie Holiday. I don't know.
What if they start putting modern women on there?
That'd be badass. Give me a Britney Spears $100 bill. Like, that is my dream.
Give me a Cardi B $1 bill.
I love me some Cardi B. You know she's really into history and politics.
Yes, and also do you think she's very money conscious? Like she takes business classes and stuff because she likes to.
Good for her.
Yeah, I also saw this funny TikTok where she goes, "Oh, try this sushi to." Who's she dating? Offset?
Yeah.
Offset? And he's like, no. And she goes, what? I'll buy you anything you want, but not too expensive. And I was like, yes, queen.
That.
We love a queen that says not too expensive, yes. But is a multimillionaire.
In conclusion, we are living in better times, but there's still work to be done. And I just feel like everyone should do their part. Support other women. Don't criticize other women. What else, Jess?
I mean, everybody is a person. You know what I mean? I think you should look at a person foremost as like another living being that has feelings and emotions. Mm-hmm. Maybe think before stuff comes out of your mouth or before you type it online. You know?
Yes.
That's all I have to say about that.
And no one has a right to a woman's body.
Exactly.
Don't catcall. Don't grope. Just
be a civil person.
Just drink your water and don't be racist.
Chill vibes.
Chill vibes.
Thank you
all
for
the time.
Thank you for listening. We'll come back next week. Hopefully.
Bye. So, but what are we going to talk about?
Oh, I just started recording. What were we doing? History of movements. The reason why I was scared when you said quarter, because I thought like the quartering.
What's the quartering?
I have no idea, but it sounds intimidating.
It sounds like something from Hunger Games.
Oh, God.